And Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. And when the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Dear woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied, "My time has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." And nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial cleansing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. And Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. And he told them, "Now take some out and take it to the master of the banquet." And they did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. And then he called the bridegroom aside and he said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the servants have had too much to drink." The guests have had too much to drink, sorry. "But you have saved the best until now." This, the first of his miraculous signs Jesus performed at Cana in Galilee. He thus revealed his glory, and his disciples put their faith in him. It was just a typical wedding. This wasn't the son or daughter of royalty, and had there not been a particular detail, we would never be discussing this wedding so many years later. But the detail was this: they invited Jesus to their wedding. I've officiated hundreds of weddings, and I love to say, by the way, every time Jesus is invited to a wedding, he shows up. And so they invited Jesus to the wedding. He said to her, she said to him, "Hey, don't forget, Jesus loves a good wedding." So invited, and Jesus, who does love a party, took his disciples from Galilee, which was a day's journey, and walked all the way to Cana to attend the wedding. Maybe that's why they had the problem they had. Maybe the disciples were thirsty. Because soon there was a problem. They ran out of, you ran out of strength, out of hope, out of energy, out of answers, out of patience, out of capacity, out of payroll. What do you do when you run out? I think this story is in the Bible to help us to see. Mary enters. For my nickel, Mary, the mother of Jesus, has too few stories in the Bible. I know no one asked me. But I would think, here's a woman who gave birth to Christ, breastfed Christ, taught Christ to walk, heard Christ talk. I'd love to see more of Mary. So when Mary does speak up, we perk up, and here she speaks up, and she comes to Jesus, and she offers what must be the first prayer offered to Christ, at least the first prayer recorded. And it's so simple. 5 words. They have no more wine. There it is. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being simple, 10 being eloquent, how would you grade that prayer? Is that the kind of prayer that you would put in a Hobby Lobby frame and hang up on your wall? Right next to "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Our Father who art in heaven, they have no more wine." It doesn't quite have that. Apparently, the power of prayer is not so much in the way we say the prayer, but in the one who hears the prayer. Because here Mary comes with a very simple prayer. And it's as if she takes this request and she walks it across the room and she presents it to Christ. Christ is initially hesitant. He says, "Dear woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come." Apparently, Christ came to the wedding to come to the wedding. It was not his purpose to perform a miracle. Maybe you have brought a request to Christ and you're sensing that he has yet to answer. Raise your hand if you're somewhere in between an offered prayer and an answered prayer. So what do you do when you're waiting on Christ? Here's what Mary did. She turned to the servants and she said, "Well,